The Nexus Arena was the largest neutral station in the known galaxy, a place where politics, pride, and power collided. Today, however, it felt less like a diplomatic hall and more like a battlefield waiting to happen. Every seat in the Golden Amphitheater was filled with leaders, soldiers, and spectators from dozens of species, all gathered for one purpose: to witness the Grand Fleet Summit. It was the event where the strongest empires showed off their greatest warships. It was a tradition built on pride, intimidation, and glory. 5 of the galaxy's most powerful civilizations arrived early, each escorted by ships that sparkled like floating monuments. Their leaders stepped into the arena with confidence that bordered on arrogance, a towering reptilian warrior whose armored plates reflected red light. His people built brutal warships, known for raw strength, a slender figure with skin like polished silver. Her stealth fleet could vanish from any sensors. A machine-organic hybrid whose soldiers obeyed every command without emotion. His ships were living metal fortresses, elegant, glowing with energy. Her ships ran on pure light, moving like dancing stars, a massive beast of muscle and rage. His fleet was the fastest in known space. These 5 alien commanders walked to the center stage, where holograms of their warships spun above them like giants of light. The crowd roared in excitement. Valtor raised his chin proudly. "Today," he said, "we prove who rules the stars." The other commanders nodded in agreement. And then a small metallic door on the side of the arena opened. Humanity entered. A single man walked in, calm, quiet, and completely unbothered by the alien might on display. He wore a simple dark uniform without the heavy metals or glowing adornments of the others. His name was Captain Elias Ward, representative of the Terran Alliance. The reaction was instant. Laughter echoed across the arena. Several alien spectators clapped mockingly. Some whispered in amusement, others in pity. Valtor smirked. Humanity arrives late to its own humiliation. Cirrus tilted her head. How predictable. Humans struggle even with time. Duroc roared with laughter and slapped his armored chest. "Human, tell us, did you get lost? Or did your tiny ship run out of fuel?" The audience burst into laughter again. But Captain Ward didn't blink. He didn't frown. He simply gave a small, polite smile. "Apologies," he said in a calm voice. "We were making final checks on our ship." The alien commanders exchanged looks of disbelief. "Ship?" Cortex asked, metallic eyes narrowing. "Human ships are scrap metal with engines." The crowd laughed harder. "Is it one of your so-called battleships?" Liran asked mockingly. "Those little things you send to patrol cargo lanes?" Ward shook his head slowly. "No," he said. "We brought something new." The laughter died down just a little. Something in Ward's voice was different. Steady, confident, not arrogant, simply sure. It made the alien commanders hesitate. Valtor stepped forward. "Humanity has no ship worth showing here. Do not waste our time with empty talk." Ward clasped his hands behind his back. "We will show it, but only after you finish your demonstrations." Duroc snorted. "Why wait? Afraid our ships will break your little toy?" Ward smiled faintly. "No, I want you to enjoy your moment." The calm tone, quiet but unshakable, made something cold crawl down the spine of several commanders. The arena lights dimmed. The spectators leaned in. Ward stepped back into the shadows. "Very well," Valtor growled. "Let the demonstrations begin." The stage erupted in bright light as Valtor activated the Bracon hologram. A colossal warship appeared above him. Thick armor, massive cannons, engines that shook asteroids apart. "This," Valtor announced, "is the Juggernaut class. Born for war, able to crush fleets alone." Thunderous applause. Next, Admiral Cirrus raised her hand. The ghost blade shimmered into view, a sleek, beautiful silver craft that flickered like smoke. "Your sensors cannot detect it," she said softly. "Your weapons cannot lock onto it." More applause. Then Cortex displayed the dread core, living metal that shifted and pulsed like a heartbeat. No weapon can penetrate it. Liran showed the sunspire, glowing like a small star, powered entirely by pure energy. Duroc revealed the bloodstorm, fast, brutal, impossible to outrun. Each demonstration was more impressive than the last. The audience roared with excitement. Ward watched quietly from the sidelines. When the final alien ship vanished and the crowd calmed, Valtor turned toward Ward. "Well, human," he said, voice dripping with confidence. "Your turn." The arena became silent. Captain Ward walked slowly to the center, every step echoing like a heartbeat. 5 alien commanders stood tall, believing humanity was about to embarrass itself. Ward tapped his wrist device. "Very well," he said quietly. "You want to see our ship?" Space outside the Nexus arena suddenly trembled. Lights flickered. Sensors malfunctioned. A deep vibration hummed across the station floor. Alien commanders froze in confusion. "What is happening? Something massive is coming. Our scanners are breaking." Ward smiled calmly. "Humanity," he said softly, "brought something a little different." A shadow appeared outside the windows. Huge, growing larger, blocking out the stars. And the 5 commanders stared upward in dawning horror. Something unimaginable was arriving. Something far bigger than anything they had ever seen. Something they never imagined humans could build. Ward stepped aside. "Allow me to introduce," he whispered, "our battleship." The arena lights dimmed again as the holographic floor shifted into a star-filled void. All eyes turned toward the 5 alien commanders, each preparing to show off the pride of their empire. Captain Elias Ward watched from the edge of the stage, calm as ever, while whispers echoed through the crowd. "Humans are done for. They brought nothing worth showing. This will be embarrassing." Ward simply folded his hands behind his back and said nothing. Commander Valtor was the first to step forward. His heavy footsteps echoed like thunder. "Observe true power," he growled. With a sweep of his arm, a massive hologram shot upward, revealing a monstrous warship. Dark, thick armor wrapped around its hull, and giant cannons lined its sides like rows of jagged teeth. "This," Valtor announced proudly, "is the Juggernaut-class destroyer, built from compressed star metal. Its cannons can shatter a cruiser with one volley. Its armor is stronger than asteroid cores." The hologram shifted to show a juggernaut in action. It tore through enemy fleets with terrifying ease, ramming smaller ships and firing blasts so powerful they split asteroids in half. The crowd roared in excitement. Valtor turned to Ward with a smirk. "Human, your turn will not be so impressive." Ward simply nodded. Admiral Cirrus glided forward, her silver skin shimmering. "Our power lies not in strength, but in invisibility." She activated her hologram. The ship that appeared was thin, smooth, and sleek, almost like a blade made of shadow. "This is the Ghost Blade," Cyrus said. "Your eyes cannot see it. Your sensors cannot track it. Once it cloaks, it vanishes completely." The hologram ship flickered, then disappeared entire. "Lie." Gasps filled the arena. Cyrus continued, "Its weapons strike without warning. Entire stations have fallen before they knew we were there." The crowd applauded again, impressed by the elegance and mystery of the Sarathi ship. She glanced at Ward. "Your ships still rely on metal and noise. Ours rely on perfection." Ward gave a polite smile. General Cortex, a towering machine-organic being, stepped forward next. Metallic cables shifted around him like living snakes. "Our ships," he said in a deep robotic tone, "are alive." A massive, glowing shape formed above him, a warship that pulsed like a beating heart. The metal shifted, moved, and reshaped itself as if it had thoughts. "This is the Dread Core," Cortex explained. "Forged from living metal. It repairs itself. It adapts. No weapon has ever pierced its hull." The hologram zoomed in, showing missiles melting against its surface and lasers bending away like light reflecting off water. Cortex raised a heavy hand. "You cannot destroy what evolves faster than you can fight." The crowd murmured in awe. Ward remained silent, his expression unchanged. Elegant Empress Lyron floated toward the center, surrounded by a golden glow. "We do not build ships," she said softly. "We grow them." Her hologram flickered to life, a radiant vessel glowing like a newborn star. Its hull was made of pure energy, constantly shifting and sparkling. "This," she said, "is the Sunspire. It draws power from starlight itself. No engine is needed, no fuel. It shines as long as the universe has light." The Sunspire in the hologram fired a brilliant beam that sliced cleanly through an asteroid like soft fruit. The crowd gasped again. Lyron smiled gently. "Your human reactors cannot dream of such elegance." Ward nodded once, still calm. Marshal Duroc stomped to the front, muscles shaking with excitement. "My ship," he roared, "does not HID. It does not glow. It kills." His hologram erupted in sparks, showing a bulky, aggressive craft covered in missile ports. "This is the Bloodstorm, fastest ship in the galaxy. We launch 100 missiles per second." The hologram showed a Bloodstorm darting through enemy lines, firing unending waves of red missiles. Entire fleets were overwhelmed. Duroc slammed a fist into his chest. "Try outrunning us. Try surviving us." The arena erupted in applause yet again. When the 5 presentations finished, the arena buzzed with excitement and arrogance. Humans can't match this. They have no living ships, no cloaking ships, no energy ships, no missile storms. A reporter whispered loudly, "Why is the human even here?" Another alien chuckled, maybe to take notes. Valtor spread his arms. "Behold, these are the greatest warships in the galaxy." The crowd cheered. Then he pointed at Captain Ward. "Your turn, human. Show us your small scrap ship." Laughter echoed again. Ward took a slow breath and finally stepped forward. "Thank you," he said softly. "Your demonstrations were impressive." Sarah smirked. "You may leave now, human. You have nothing to show us." Ward tilted his head. "Nothing?" Cortex crossed his arms. "Yes, humans have nothing comparable." Ward simply smiled. "You are mistaken." The arena grew quiet. Ward tapped a small device on his wrist. At first, nothing happened. Then the lights flickered. The air vibrated. The arena walls shook with a low hum, as if something enormous was moving outside. Valtor frowned. "What is that?" The crowd murmured nervously. "Our sensors," a technician shouted. "Something massive is approaching. Very massive." "How massive?" Duroc growled. The technician stared at his screen in terror. It's bigger than all your ships combined." A cold silence fell over the arena. Ward finally spoke, his voice calm and steady. "You showed your ships." He looked up toward the massive windows facing space. "Now humanity will show ours." The stars outside began to disappear behind a growing shadow. Huge, silent, and impossibly large. The alien commanders turned pale. Cyrus whispered, "No, that size is impossible." Ward stepped aside. Introducing, he said softly, "the Titanus Prime." The arena shook as the monstrous human warship arrived, and the 5 alien commanders realized they had made a terrible mistake. The laughter in the Nexus arena shook the golden walls as Valtor pointed a clawed finger at Captain Elias Ward. The other alien commanders smirked with confidence. Sure, they had already won the summit. "Your turn, human," Valtor announced loudly. "Show us your warship, if you even have one." The crowd exploded with amusement. Mocking claps, sarcastic cheers, pitying whispers. A few aliens even mimicked the shape of tiny human ships with their hands. Ward didn't react. He did not blush, argue, or defend himself. He simply walked toward the center stage with quiet confidence, the way someone would walk when they already knew the outcome. His steps were slow and steady, echoing through the arena like a heartbeat. "Very well," he said calmly. "You want to see our ship?" The laughter died slightly. Something in his tone felt different, not arrogance, not pride, certainty. Ward lifted his wrist and pressed a small glowing device. A soft click echoed in the silence. Then everything changed. At first, the lights in the arena flickered. A gentle vibration rippled through the floor, enough to make several spectators shift uncomfortably. Valtor frowned. "What trick is this?" Before anyone could answer, the vibration grew stronger. The air itself felt heavier, as if gravity had shifted. The massive windows overlooking space began to tremble. A Sarathi technician shouted. "From the observation deck, space outside the station is distorting." Another screen lit up with warnings. "Alert, unknown gravitational anomaly detected. Alert, sensor disruption. Alert, object approaching, size unknown." Cyrus's silver eyes widened. "What is happening? This disturbance? It's too strong for a small ship." General Cortex's mechanical voice crackled. "No vessel of that mass can move this quickly. It defies physics." Marshal Duroc growled. "Your machines must be broken." But the technicians shook their heads frantically. "They are not broken," one shouted. "Something is coming. Something massive." The alien commanders exchanged nervous glances. Their earlier confidence began to crack. Ward stood still, hands folded calmly behind his back. Screens all across the arena began flashing static. Holograms cut out. Even advanced alien sensor arrays struggled to maintain function. "We cannot measure the size," one officer yelled. "Every reading is off the charts," another cried. "It's blocking half our scanning range." Cyrus clenched her jaw. "That is impossible. No known ship has this kind of signature." The crowd fell silent as fear slowly replaced amusement. Valtor looked directly at Ward. "What have you done, human?" Ward met his gaze without blinking. "We brought our ship," he said softly. "You asked for a demonstration?" Another alarm blared, louder, deeper, rattling every seat in the arena. Alert, object entering visual range. A terrified whisper drifted through the crowd. What kind of ship can be seen from this distance? The stars outside, the giant windows, slowly began to disappear, as if something enormous had slid between the station and the cosmos. Lights dimmed. The arena grew colder. The technicians froze. It's too big," one whispered. "It's eclipsing the starfield," said another. "It's not a ship. It's a moving continent." Tor stepped back instinctively. His voice trembled. "No. No vessel can be that size." Captain Ward simply said, "It is." Silence fell so deeply that even the hum of the station felt distant. Slowly, the shadow resolved into shape. Metallic, colossal, seamless. It covered the entire viewing window, blotting out stars as if it were swallowing the sky. Gasps filled the arena. Some spectators fell from their seats. Some hid behind the railings. A few stared in awe, unable to breathe. Ward finally spoke, the Titanus Prime. Empress Lyron's glowing eyes widened. This cannot be a human ship." Corthex's voice glitched. "The mass, impossible. The energy readings off scale." Cyrus whispered, "Even our combined fleets cannot match something of this size." Duroc stepped backward. "This is not a battleship. It's a planet." Ward shook his head softly. "No, it is smaller than a planet, but large enough to defend one." The alien commanders looked at him in horror. Valtor's voice cracked. "Why would humans build such a monster?" Ward answered simply, "Because we needed to." The massive ship slowly rotated, revealing its full form. A smooth, dark hull with no seams or rivets, energy veins glowing like molten rivers, weapon bays larger than entire alien cruisers, a central core pulsing like a captured sun. It moved with grace, not speed, like something ancient and wise. A gentle shockwave radiated outward, knocking out all remaining alien scanners at once. "We're blind," someone screamed. "It's jamming everything," Ward corrected them. "It's not jamming anything. Your system simply cannot process it." The alien commanders felt their pride crumble. Everything they had shown earlier, the Juggernaut, the Ghost Blade, the Dread Core, the Sunspire, the Bloodstorm, all of them suddenly felt like toys next to humanity's giant. The arena shook again. Titanus Prime Activat. Ed. Its main lights. Beams of pure energy cut across the darkness like sunrise. A soft hum filled the air. Valtor dropped his weapon. Cyrus clutched her chest. Corthex's circuits dimmed. Duroc stopped breathing for a moment. Lyron covered her mouth with trembling hands. All of them stared at Ward with new understanding. Humanity had not come to boast. They had not come to intimidate. They had simply answered a challenge. Ward took a slow breath. "You showed your ships with pride," he said gently. "We showed ours with purpose." He stepped back. "Now you understand the difference." The alien commanders looked at each other, truly afraid for the first time, and for the first time in the galaxy's history, they realized humanity was far beyond them. The Nexus Arena was built to impress, even to intimidate, but now it felt small, fragile, almost insignificant. Every alien spectator stood frozen, staring at the massive shadow outside the viewing windows. Their proud cheering had turned into silent fear. Even the strongest commanders felt their hearts shake. The Titanus Prime had arrived. Slowly, painfully slowly, the enormous ship moved into full view. It was so large that many in the arena could not see its edges, only the small part framed by the transparent window. It looked less like a warship and more like a floating continent made of black metal and light. The arena's lights flickered again. Commander Valtor, who once stood tall and proud, suddenly felt weak. His voice cracked as he whispered the words forming in his mind. This is not a warship. This is a planet killer." No one argued. No one laughed. No one dared to speak. The Titanus Prime drifted silently, without the sound of engines or the glow of thrusters. There were no exhaust trails, no visible reactors, no exposed weapon ports. The entire ship was one smooth, seamless structure, as if car. From a single piece of cosmic stone, alien scanners tried desperately to analyze it, unable to identify propulsion system. Energy readings unstable, no impossible, no infinite. Weapons cannot measure, armor density unknown. The machines panicked and the operators panicked with them. Empress Laran, who commanded the radiant Sunspire, felt her glowing dress dim with fear. Its energy core, she whispered, it shines like a captured sun. The Titanus Prime's central core glowed gently, pulsing like a heartbeat across its titanic form. The light illuminated the arena with an eerie warm glow. General Cortex, a being of living metal who feared nothing, stepped back. There are no seams, he muttered. No welds, no plates, no openings. Cirrus, the master of stealth ships, added, and no weak points, none. It is perfect. Duroc, the brute commander known for charging into battle without fear, grabbed the railing tightly. Sweat rolled down his forehead. This should not exist, he growled, but it did, and it belonged to humanity. Captain Elias Ward remained calm, standing at the center of the arena as if he had simply brought a new car to a small demonstration. His voice remained steady. Allow me to introduce humanity's Titanus Prime. No boasting, no shouting, no dramatic gestures, just quiet confidence. He continued, this ship is one of ours, not our biggest, not our strongest, just one. The alien commanders stared at him as if he'd spoken madness. Their brains refused to accept what their eyes already knew. Just one? Valtor repeated, voice trembling. You mean there are more? Ward nodded. There are several. Cortex's metallic frame shook. Why? Why would you build such a monstrosity? Ward's expression softened. Because humanity needed it. He didn't explain further. He didn't have to. The Titanus Prime's presence answered the cue. Shin itself. A small detail caught Cirrus's attention. What are those objects around it? She asked. Ward raised a finger. Ah, those are our automated defense units. The crowd leaned forward. Hundreds of small, dark shapes hovered near the Titanus Prime, drifting like metallic birds. Suddenly, they shifted formation with synchronized precision, creating geometric patterns that looked almost artistic. These drones, Ward explained, are independent and fully adaptive. They intercept projectiles before impact, cloak the ship when needed, and support our outer defense grid with their own energy shields. Duroc's jaw dropped. Each drone is larger than one of our fighters. Ward nodded politely. Yes, but size is not the point. They can move fast enough to stop light-based attacks. Valtor nearly fainted. Stop! Light? A new layer of dread settled over the arena as Ward pointed toward the Titanus Prime's lower hull. That is where the main weapon is located. The aliens squinted. They saw no gun, no cannon, no barrel, just smooth metal. Cortex asked the obvious question. Where is the weapon? Ward replied, the weapon is the ship. That sentence chilled the entire arena. Ward continued, I could explain how it works, but most of the science behind it is not public knowledge. Even our allies do not fully understand it. Cyrus whispered, meaning, you do not want us to understand it? Ward tilted his head, meaning you cannot. The alien commanders felt insulted, afraid, and humbled all at once, even without firing a shot. The Titanus Prime radiated intimidation. The massive ship seemed to absorb the light around it, making stars behind it disappear completely. Duroc muttered something under his breath about ancient gods returning. Someone in the audience whispered, if this is what humans build, what do they fear? Another answered softly, not us. The alien commanders realized the same truth. They had mocked humanity. They had boasted about their fleets. They had declared themselves the rulers of the galaxy. But the Titanus Prime was enough to shift the entire balance of power in a single moment. Ward turned toward them. You asked to see our ship. Now you have. Valtor's voice was quiet, hollow. This will end the summit. No one can match this. Ward shook his head. We did not come to dominate you. Then why? Liran asked, shaking. Ward looked up at the Titanus Prime as its giant silhouette filled the stars. Because something is coming, he said softly. Something none of you are prepared to face. We built this ship for that threat, not for you. A wave of dread rippled through the arena. The alien commanders knew they had misjudged humanity, not just its strength, but its purpose. And for the first time, they wondered what darkness could possibly scare a species capable of creating the Titanus Prime. Silence held the Nexus arena in a tight grip. Every alien commander, every spectator, every soldier could feel the weight of the Titanus Prime's presence pressing down on their chest. The enormous human warship hovered outside the station like a dark star, dwarfing everything around it. Captain Elias Ward stood at the center of the arena, calm as always. He waited until the last whisper faded before speaking. "You have shown your ships," he said. "Now allow humanity to show ours." The alien commanders braced themselves. They had already seen the monster, but they had not yet seen what it could do. Baltor swallowed hard. "What kind of demonstration do you intend to show?" Ward didn't answer right away. Instead, he pressed a small command button on his wrist device. A deep hum resonated through the arena, gentle but powerful enough to make the giant structure tremble. "Titanus Prime," Ward said calmly, "Pair demonstration mode." Lights flickered across the Titanus Prime's massive hull. Glowing symbols, like ancient runes, pulsed with golden light. Even Cortex, whose mechanical mind rarely experienced emotion, whispered, "This technology, it should not be possible," but it was. A hologram activated in the air above the stage. It displayed a lifeless moon orbiting nearby, a dead, rocky sphere floating silently in the darkness. "This is Target Alpha," Ward explained, "uninhabited, stable, perfect for testing." General Duroc frowned. "It is a moon, human. We have shattered moons before. This proves nothing." Ward turned to him with a small smile. "Let's find out." He lifted his hand toward the Titanus Prime. "Prime," he commanded. "Remove Target Alpha." The alien commanders leaned forward. The arena fell silent. For a moment, nothing happened. Then a faint white glow began forming at the underside of the Titanus Prime. It wasn't bright. It wasn't loud. It didn't even look dangerous. It just looked calm. But the energy being gathered was beyond anything the galaxy had ever seen. Cyrus whispered, "That glow, my sensors cannot read it. It is not plasma, not laser, not anything known." Liran clutched her chest. "It feels like light itself is being pulled inward." The glow concentrated into a thin, perfectly straight line, no thicker than a strand of hair. Then, a silent beam shot across space. No explosion, no recoil, no sound, just pure focused energy. The beam touched Target Alpha, and the moon evaporated, not cracked, not shattered, not destroyed, evaporated, gone in 2 seconds. The hologram updated instantly, showing empty space where a moon previously existed. The alien commanders stumbled backward in shock. Valtor grabbed the railing. "No warship can do that. That was a moon." Cortex's circuits flickered. "This weapon surpasses OU. Our entire arsenal. Combined." Cirrus shook her head. "This beam, it does not explode. It erases." Duroc, normally fearless, took a step behind his podium. "What have humans built?" Ward remained calm. That, he said, was only the lowest setting. Before the aliens could recover, Ward pressed another command. "Prime," he said, "activate planetary shield bubble." The Titanus Prime responded instantly. A pulse of golden light expanded outward from the ship. It grew larger and larger until it formed a massive dome, so large it could cover an entire planet. The golden shield shimmered like liquid sunlight. Cortex's sensors blinked uselessly. A shield of this size is impossible. The energy requirements, Ward shook his head gently. "We solved that problem a long time ago." Baltor stared at the glowing dome. "This shield, what can it withstand?" Ward smiled slightly. Let's test that too." Another hologram appeared, a cluster of small asteroids drifting near the Titanus Prime. The ship extended a beam to pull them closer. The asteroids entered the shield bubble and instantly disintegrated into harmless light. The crowd gasped. The alien commanders stared as more and more asteroids hit the shield, each one disappearing on contact. "Your ships use physical force to destroy threats," Ward explained. Titanus Prime uses energy harmonics, Cirrus blinked, meaning it does not simply block attacks, Ward continued. It dissolves them. The entire arena shook as a much larger asteroid entered the shield. It too disintegrated without a trace. The golden dome didn't flicker once. Duroc whispered, "This shield could protect an entire planet," Ward nodded. "That is the point." The alien commanders looked at each other, realizing the same truth. Their greatest weapons, their stealth ships, living metal fortresses, energy vessels, and missile storms, meant naught. Hing compared to the Titanus Prime. They had come to boast about their fleets, but now they stood humbled before something far beyond them. Liran spoke softly. "Humanity has surpassed us." Cortex added, "This ship is not a weapon. It is a statement." Valtor shook his head in disbelief. "You built something like this, not for conquest?" Ward answered gently, "No, we built it for protection." The demonstration ended with the Titanus Prime releasing a soft pulse of light. It washed over the arena like a warm breeze, calming every trembling being in the room. Ward lowered his hand. "You have now witnessed what humanity is capable of." Silence followed, deep, heavy silence. Not a single alien dared to speak, not because they feared destruction, but because they finally understood, for the first time in galactic history, humanity had revealed its true potential, and it terrified and impressed everyone watching. The Nexus Arena had never been so quiet. Thousands of aliens stood frozen, staring through the enormous viewing window at the Titanus Prime, humanity's impossible warship, a ship so massive, so perfectly constructed, and so overwhelmingly powerful that words felt too small to describe it. The same commanders who, just hours earlier, had mocked humanity now trembled in fear. Commander Valtor, once proud and towering, slowly fell to his knees. His legs simply could not support him anymore. The brute strength he bragged about meant nothing in front of the Titanus Prime. Empress Liran, always graceful and calm, lowered her glowing head. Her radiant dress dimmed, as if even the light inside her feared the human ship. Marshal Duroc, the fearless war beast who had laughed at humanity's arrival, now took several steps backwards, gripping the railing tightly. Admiral Cirrus closed her silver eyes. How did we not know?" she whispered. General Cortex's metallic frame flickered. "We underestimated them, all of us. No one argued, no one could." Into this deep silence, Captain Elias Ward stepped forward. His voice broke through the tension like a gentle knife. "We did not come to intimidate you," Ward said softly. "We came to warn you." Every alien looked up at him, confused, scared, uncertain. "Warn them? Warn them about what?" Ward continued calmly. "Titanus Prime was not built to fight your fleets. It was not designed to challenge your empires, nor destroy you." He glanced up at the massive warship hanging in the darkness. "It was built because something else is coming, something the galaxy is not ready for." A cold shiver passed through the arena. Valtor managed to speak, though his voice shook. What threat requires a ship like that?" Ward looked at him. His calm expression didn't change, but there was a heaviness in his eyes. "We call it the void tide," yes. "Aid. A cosmic force that consumes everything it touches. Space, time, energy, life." The alien commanders exchanged horrified looks. Cortex's metallic voice crackled. "A myth, a legend." Ward shook his head. "No, not a myth. Humanity has seen its edge. Stars disappearing, systems falling silent, entire civilizations erased. Leaving nothing behind, he stepped closer to the center of the stage. "We did not build the Titanus Prime to conquer. We built it to survive." The arena grew even quieter, Empress Liran whispered. "And you face this threat alone?" "For now," Ward answered. Ward lifted his gaze again to the Titanus Prime. "We did not reveal this ship to shame you. You challenged humanity. You wanted to see our strength. But we showed you something different." He turned back to the alien commanders. "We showed you what we are capable of when we unite, when we fight for survival, when we are pushed to our limits." His voice remained soft, but every word carried the weight of a star. "Humanity does not want war. Not with you, not with anyone." A quiet murmur spread through the arena, but, Ward said firmly, "If we must stand alone against the void tide, we will. If we must protect the galaxy alone, we will." Valtor slowly rose from his knees. You would protect us? Ward nodded. Yes, because the void tide will not stop with humans. It will consume everything. Cortex's circuits flickered again. Even our ships cannot stand against something like that. No, Ward replied. They cannot. Duroc gripped the railing. But yours can. Ward hesitated for the first time. We hope so. The arena absorbed the weight of his honesty. Humanity, despite its terrifying power, was not invincible. They were preparing, but they were afraid too. For the first time, the alien commanders understood the true difference between them and humanity. The alien empires built Warsh. Peace for pride, for fear, for dominance. Humanity built the Titanus Prime for survival. Laurent said quietly, Perhaps we judged you too quickly. Ward gave a faint smile. Most species do. Cyrus stepped forward. And if we choose to help, if we stand with humanity? Ward's eyes brightened just a little. Then the galaxy has a chance. The arena filled with a strange new emotion, hope, not just for humanity, but for every species present. Valtor extended a trembling hand. Human, if what you say is true, then the Bracon Empire will stand with you. Cyrus nodded. The Sarathi Dominion will join your fight. Cortex's voice steadied. The Iron Collective will lend our living fleets. Laurent placed a glowing hand over her heart. The Valari Ascendancy offers its light. Duroc slammed a fist over his chest. The Harkoon Horde will send every ship we have. Ward looked around the arena. 5 once arrogant commanders now choosing unity. He bowed his head slightly. Humanity accepts your alliance. The entire arena exhaled a mixture of relief and awe. The Titanus Prime slowly rotated in the darkness, its lights pulsing like a heartbeat echoing across the stars. No shot had been fired at any alien ship. No planet had been destroyed. No empire had been conquered. Humanity had won not through violence, but through truth. Ward turned back toward the crowd. You challenged us with pride, he said, but we answered with purpose. A soft, eerie silence followed, one born from respect rather than fear. Valtor said quietly, The galaxy will remember this day, Cyrus whispered. Humanity will lead us into the future, Cortex added, or save us from the end. Ward's voice was calm. We will face the void tide. Together. The alien commanders nodded. The crowd erupted. This time not with laughter, not with arrogance, but with unity. From that day on, every species in the arena carried the same truth. Humanity was not the weakest. Humanity was not the loudest. Humanity was the hope the galaxy never expected. And as the Titanus Prime glowed like a guardian star above them, the galaxy finally understood. You do not fear humans. You join them, or you face the darkness alone.